Alright, in ethology, we're always asking two questions. Remember, we've got a stimulus that elicits some response carried through the nervous system, carried out by the muscular or hormonal system. We're always asking how and why on those. And so these wind up being proximate questions or ultimate questions. Proximate focuses on how. Okay, what was the stimulus that triggered some behavior? What were the anatomical, genetic, or physiological mechanisms that underlie that behavior? And then the ultimate question, or ultimate causation, is the why question. Right? These explain the evolutionary significance of a behavior. And the first type of behavior we're going to see called a fixed action pattern. Okay. These are unlearned innate behaviors. Don't get them confused with instinct. Okay. It's unchangeable, but it can be modified through experience. All right, so pictured here is another baby being tortured. All right. This fixed action pattern is a newborn infant. When something touches its palm, it grasps around it. Okay. So our proximate explanation for that is that there's a stimulus received by the palm, it travels through the nervous system, and we get an immediate response carried out by the muscles to grasp around that object. You've probably noticed this. You stuck your finger in a baby's palm, they grab. Okay. Well, what's the ultimate cause for that? The evolutionary significance. Well, go back in time. Most of you have mothers who probably don't have extremely furry backs, but your ancestors did, right? And so this is an innate behavior, a fixed action pattern, where the evolutionary significance is that it increases survival. This is how babies clung to their mothers. You can still see it in other primate groups. Okay. There's a whole range of fixed action patterns in all kinds of species. Here we've got sticklebacks. Okay, the males build a nest. They spend a lot of time building a nest, and then female comes along. If she's attracted to the nest and the male, she'll lay eggs. He fertilizes them, and then he stays around protecting them. Of course, a rival male who's fertile may want to just go ahead and steal a nest by beating up or killing the male who's in the nest, so he can attract his own mates and fertilize eggs. Okay. When stickleback males are fertile and in mating mode, their bellies turn red. All right, and so a stickleback who's protecting a nest, when it sees something with a red belly, he attacks immediately. It's innate, unlearned, born with it behavior, a fixed action pattern. Researchers can actually fool them out. They put in these plastic shapes, okay, one that looks very much like a stickleback fish but no red belly, and they swim it over on the end of a little clear rod to the protective male, and he doesn't attack. He does attack these other shapes even though they don't look like a fish. Okay, and so in this way we're able to kind of tease apart what's immediately causing this reaction. Right, that's our proximate cause. It's a red belly. Okay, the evolutionary significance or ultimate cause for that behavior of attacking is that it helps you produce more offspring. Alright, here's another couple examples of fixed action patterns. Humans have a few of these. We've got the grasp reflex in our palms and in our feet, okay, because our feet used to be better at grabbing things than they are now. We've got a fear of heights, we've got a fear of loud noises, and of falling, alright, that falling sensation. So, yet some more baby torture. We've got this classic psychological experiment where we've got baby crawling out onto glass, right? So they put the baby here, and then its mother goes to the other end and calls to the baby, and it won't crawl out over on the glass. Okay, that's innate, unlearned behavior. Okay, this is a building in Chicago where you can go stand on glass on like 50 stories up or something, and it's supposed to make you wet your pants, and it does. Okay, it's because we're innately afraid of being over open spaces like that. All right. Now, sloths you can put them on this same experiment and have them move towards food, and they just go right over the edge. How come? Well, they're not humans. Universality is a bad idea in ethology. Okay, so we try not to work with that. Sloths don't have that innate fear of dangling over empty spaces. Okay. The evolutionary or ultimate causation for this is because they spend their lives dangling over empty spaces. It would not be beneficial if they were in a constant state of panic. Okay. Now, this doesn't mean that you're incapable of going out over an empty space, obviously. Look at this. Or if you go rock climbing or something, these fixed action patterns can be modified through learning, okay? But they have to be modified. They're not, you can't get rid of them entirely, okay? Another really cool example of fixed action patterns being shaped by experience, kind of like somebody learning to go rappelling, all right, are these vervet monkeys in Africa. All right. These are really cool because their babies are actually born knowing 3 words. Okay. You were not born knowing any words, but vervet monkeys were. They are born with 3 words. The word for look out, eagle, the word for look out, leopard, and the word for look out, snake. Okay. They know these words. The big tribe they live in, 200 to 400 other monkeys in extended giant family groups, they all know these words as well. They know what they mean, all right? If somebody yells eagle alarm, everyone runs for the bushes, right, to hide. Somebody runs leopard, they run out onto the tiniest branches of a tree, the whole colony. If somebody says snake, they all stand up and look around to try to find the snake and then get out of the way. Okay. The ultimate cause of this is pretty clear. They don't want to get eaten by these 3 things. Okay. The proximate cause, I don't know it, but I'm sure it runs through their nervous system. They're used to these 3 sounds that elicit instinctual fixed action pattern responses. However, this fixed action pattern is shaped by experience. Okay, babies are born knowing these 3 words. But let's take the eagle alarm for an example. All right. There's plenty of birds out there that aren't going to kill and eat monkeys from the tribe. Okay. So these are bad. We got all these eagles, but what about vultures or bee eaters? These are non-raptors, and the infants are born with the ability to basically not distinguish between these. They see a big scary bird thing and they say, eagle, eagle, and everyone says, shut up, kid. All right. They don't have that fixed action pattern response immediately when a baby yells eagle. Not everybody immediately runs for the bushes when a baby says eagle because they know that babies are stupid. Okay. As the baby grows and gets more experience, it learns to distinguish between different types of birds, okay, and it learns more words for them, okay, and the other members of the tribe begin to take the baby more seriously, okay. This is a good example of fixed action pattern being shaped by experience. So fixed action patterns is one type of behavior. We also have directional movement, which we call taxis. All right, think of getting into a taxi. You're going towards or away from something. Okay. If you shine a light on an earthworm, it moves away from it. That's taxis. Okay, away from a stimulus. If you have a light on at night, moths move towards it. That's a taxis. All right. What's the proximate causation of this for the moths? Well, the stimulus is light. Reaching their eyes, travels through their nervous system, and it causes their muscles to move towards that stimulus. Okay. What's the ultimate cause of this, the evolutionary reason for this behavior? All right, if you light a tiki torch on a warm summer evening, a moth is going to fly right into it and burn itself to death. What's the evolutionary significance of that? Well, none. Okay. They evolved this behavior before people were putting up bug zappers and lighting fires all over the place, right? Moths navigate by moonlight, okay, and so that's the ultimate cause of this. As a matter of fact, as we get more and more light pollution, some of these moths are going extinct because they're unable to do their normal navigation, right? And a lot of them are pollinators of rare and endangered plant species, which are also going extinct because of the moths going extinct because of the light pollution, right? They didn't evolve this in the past 800 years, right? They evolved it over millions of years. Okay. We also have kinesis, which is non-directional change, and so this is an increase or decrease in random movement, right? And that's the key there, random movement. So we see our little slime molds here. We saw them before. This is the Physarum polycephalum modeling the Tokyo rail network. Okay. It moves out randomly, and it stops moving when it encounters some stimulus, in this case a piece of oatmeal. Okay, so this isn't behavior though. It's not kinesis. It's not kinesis, it's not behavior, because there's no muscle system, there's no nervous system. Alright, so it can't be said to have behavior. Alright, so how about this? Is this kinesis or taxis? Salmon returning to the exact spot where they were born in order to spawn. I'll let you think about that one. Okay, we've also got migration, alright, similar to taxis, but regular long distance change in location. Okay. So far, everything we've talked about have been innate behaviors. Okay. As opposed to innate behaviors, we've got learned behaviors. Okay. Types of learning. We've got habituation, imprinting, spatial learning, and associative learning. All right. Habituation is pretty straightforward. It's losing responsiveness to some stimulus that conveys little or no information. All right, so crows are there. There's a scarecrow. Oh no! They run away, fly away, whatever crows do. Okay. That's a stimulus. It scared them. They moved away from it. However, that stimulus actually carried no real information. Okay. It did not have any useful information for them about whether or not they were going to get chased off or shot at. Okay, because it was, well, scarecrow, all right? And so they lose responsiveness to it. They habituate. Okay. We've also got imprinting. Now, this is the fellow from the title slide here, Konrad Lorenz. He was one of the founders of modern ethology and developed the concept of imprinting. He was also like an evil Austrian Nazi. Okay. He's the one who was famous for getting a flock of geese to imprint on him and follow him around. Okay. They hatched, he was the first thing they saw, they imprinted, and they followed him. Imprinting is a behavior that has a critical learning period. Okay. It's got innate components and tends to be irreversible. So once these goslings imprinted on this horrible Nazi, they're stuck for life. All right, they're going to follow him around like he's their mother. Okay, turns out they actually imprinted on his boots, and anyone could have worn those boots and walked around in them, and they'd follow those boots. All right, you've got a small period of time when you can do your imprinting learning. All right, and that's the only time when these behaviors can be learned. Humans have this as well. All right. So communication, learning grammar, that sort of thing. If you are raised by wolves past the age of 5 or 6, it's going to be basically impossible for you to learn how to speak any language, learn how to read, that sort of thing. You've missed your window of imprinting. All right, we've also got spatial learning. Okay. This is based on experience with spatial structure of the environment. So the digger wasp example here from your textbook, okay, digger wasps were shown to have built a cognitive map of where they were. Okay, they go out, they bring food back to their young larvae, all right, and So researchers put pine cones and sticks and stuff around the nest of the digger wasp until it got used to it. It built a cognitive map, and then they moved everything a few feet away. Right? It was incapable of finding its nest, and all its young died because it went back to where it had built a cognitive map. Right, so that's spatial learning.